Mouseketeers, welcome to the Disneyland Beat, where our toes tap to a Disneyland drum.
And we always whistle while we work.
After 40 years with the company, legendary Imagineer Joe Rohde is retiring from his role as the creative executive designer and vice president at Walt Disney Imagineering.
When it comes to living and active Imagineers, Joe Rohde is one of the most famous for his work leading the creation of Disney's Animal Kingdom Park in Orlando. The park's balancing of culture and nature with immersive attraction elements is breathtaking, and it's represented a new achievement in the theme park industry as a whole.
He carries on the traditions of Walt Disney himself and has been the charismatic leader and figurehead of the theme park, bringing real-world authenticity to the park's lands and attractions through extensive research and travel.
Somehow, he also managed to find the time to work on 3 major projects here at Disneyland spanning several decades, and we're going to take a look at that today.
Come on into the parks with us. Like, subscribe, and stick around.
Mr. Rohde's career at Disney has been mostly centered in Orlando, though he is known today as a world traveler. He got his first job at Imagineering in 1980, just as Epcot's pavilions were being developed and built. He started as a painter and a model builder on the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot, and he went on to several projects at the same theme park, including the Norway Pavilion and one project that would matriculate to Disneyland.
1983 was a big year for Disney. Tokyo Disneyland opened, they started the Disney Channel, and Disneyland reopened, perhaps its most popular land that had been closed for some time. The new Fantasyland refurbishment was a massive overhaul and brought about a new era at Disneyland. Mr. Rohde also worked on this major project.
You may know that prior to 1983, Fantasyland had a Renaissance fair-like decor. It was fun and charming, yet it struggled to keep up with the new and ever-updated facades found in the rest of the park. It is the prevailing wisdom that Imagineers chose the fair-like direction due to budget constraints, and it was not the romantic and whimsical Castle Village that Walt had hoped for.
There were also some logistical problems, with several of the flat rides being placed too close to each other for the growing crowds. So, New Fantasyland brought us the Bavarian village we know today, with each attraction affecting its section of the stone, wood, and glass facades.
The ride saw some changes too. In particular, Snow White's Adventures became Snow White's Scary Adventures, and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Alice in Wonderland saw some major updates too. Pinocchio's Daring Journey was designed and built at this time, replacing the Mickey Mouse Theater.
The renovations were heralded as a great success and seen as more of a development of Walt's original vision rather than a modern betrayal of it. Fantasyland felt complete.
Joe Rohde was not the lead on any particular attraction on the new Fantasyland project, but he was a designer and an assistant on several parts of it. He was part of the team. The project allowed him to work with and meet several Imagineers at California like Mark Davis and Tony Baxter, and he was able to mingle and work at the West Coast headquarters of Disney Imagineering.
Mr. Rohde went on to work at more projects at Epcot after this, including one that came to Disneyland in a huge way, Captain EO. In fact, you can even see Joe as one of the Imagineers filmed working in the pre-show portion of the film.
Captain EO was developed for both parks at the same time, and it might be the biggest budget, most anticipated, and hyped 3D film in a theme park of all time. At Disneyland, a whole new theater was built around it.
Well, sort of. The space stage did already exist in the same spot in front of Space Mountain, but it was open air and the Tomorrowland Terrace went around it, allowing you to look down into the space. But Captain EO had effects that could not get rained on and required darkness for the 3D to be effective, so the space was enclosed and the Magic Eye Theater was built.
Joe worked on the Captain EO film concept itself, sketching out ideas as they were developed by the team. The film, starring Michael Jackson, had lots of theater effects in addition to fantastic film effects. It had a great successful run for years.
Mr. Rohde returned to work on more projects at Epcot, including the American Adventure and the beloved Adventurers Club. The latter is a Pleasure Island nightclub based on 1930s exploration and adventuring. Disneyland Hotel's Trader Sam's is heavily influenced by the story development of Joe Rohde and the Adventurers Club, as are many venues around the world. Kungaloosh, everybody!
Mr. Rohde's early successes and his background made him the ideal candidate to lead the creation of Animal Kingdom Park, which for him started in the year 1990. The park took him on an amazing journey, and it's often said he is one of the few Imagineers in the room with the experience who wanted to take on the Animal Project, as it was called, and he was the right person at the right time.
Not only did he lead the creation of Animal Kingdom, he led the park's creative team from its opening to the present. He later led the integration of Avatar, a hit CGI movie, into the Animal Kingdom theme park. This was no small feat. The theme of conservation and the themes of Avatar might not have worked well together, but Mr. Rohde found a compelling way to fit the story of Pandora into the story of Animal Kingdom.
As his career matured, his focus on story became his hallmark. He became less of a designer and more of a creative director. He worked on Aulani, Disney's resort in Hawaii, bringing genuine culture and class to every aspect. His style guides and visions are some of the simplest, yet most effective made for Imagineering.
He often talks about storytelling by giving you a premise and then asking you to design something for him that's appropriate to the story. He abhors design for design's sake. It has to be authentic and tell the story. One of the things that we love about Disneyland is its authenticity of materials, the stone and wood and not as much fiberglass. Animal Kingdom has this. Joe Rohde understands this.
Joe Rohde is fun to be around. He is very energetic, magnanimous, and bursting with generous creativity. I've had the pleasure of getting to spend a couple afternoons with him as I set up and ran tech for him while he was speaking at the Pacific Northwest Mouse Meet. He was genuine and nice, and he really took the time to get to know everybody.
In 2015, Joe Rohde became the head of development for Marvel in Disney parks, and in addition to the overarching responsibilities of that role at all Disney parks around the world, he came back to Disneyland, this time to Disney's California Adventure, to lead the design of a new attraction.
Avengers Campus represents the second phase of a three-phase plan to bring a Marvel land to Disney parks in the USA. And the first phase was the refurbishment of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror into the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which opened in 2017.
This was a risky thing to do. The Tower of Terror was a beloved ride and to this day has lots of dedicated fans, so if the ride that replaced it did not exceed everybody's expectations, there was going to be a lot of upset people.
Luckily, Mr. Rohde's attention to detail and his ability to extend the Guardians of the Galaxy universe with the story of the Mission Breakout attraction was a huge hit. And now, we have a ride that nobody else does at DCA, instead of a slightly less exciting copy of one.
Guardians of the Galaxy has one of the best queues at DCA, hands down, and it's fun to ride again and again.
As Joe Rohde comes to his retirement from Disney after 40 years of impressive and what must be rewarding work, we are sure we have not seen the last of him. Who knows what is next for him? Perhaps his skill at designing immersive and culturally sensitive resorts like Aulani and other island resorts for Disney will herald his next chapter. Maybe we will see more buildings in the world designed by Joe Rohde. We sure hope so.
We know that he'll continue to be a mentor to the next generation of Imagineers. He is still listed on the faculty at Cal Arts and still lives in California and is enjoying making documentaries with his son and family.
Thank you, Mr. Rohde, for your insight and your vision at Disney parks and your contributions to Disneyland.
We have one big question. If you retire right now with the budgets being what they are, how will the Yeti ever get fixed?
Well, that's it for us today.
Thanks for watching.
See you real soon, Mouseketeers.
See you real soon.